Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This episode is going to be about turkey hunting and the tactics that I apply to ensure that I have a very successful season. Okay, so today is March 7th, which means for Minnesota, turkey season A starts on April 15th, so this is just going to be right around the corner. Right now I'm out in the woods near my turkey hunting spot doing some scouting. So far I see a lot of promising sign. Haven't seen anything, any of the animals in person, but I am seeing footprints all over the place and turkey poop all over the place. It's just a beautiful day to go out here walking in the woods, and now I'm just going to share some tips for turkey hunting with you guys. This is a video that's for people who are experienced and people who are new to turkey hunting. This will be beneficial to you all, so I'm going to get into it. So if you're just starting out with turkey hunting, the gear that I would like to recommend to you is just your basic woodland camouflage. It could be Realtree, it could be Mossy Oak, it could be Strata Camo for all that matters. Concealment is the biggest thing. Going into different types of gear, there's all sorts of different fancy stuff that people try to market to people who are turkey hunters and just general outdoorsmen and everything. The one thing that you might want to just consider is just keeping it simple. The less gear that you tote out into the woods and the fields, the better. For me, I just bought what was affordable. I have a Cabela's jacket right here that I got on sale for pretty cheap. It was like 40 bucks, and it's a Realtree pattern. So this one's Realtree Extra. In my first video, or I think it might have been my 7th video in my channel, I don't know, it was a long time ago, I told you the benefits of mixing and matching camo. I have a Mossy Oak Breakup Country style bibs that I wear for they're like overalls kind of. The camo pattern actually matches this Realtree Extra very well, and so I know when you buy camo as a set, things tend to be pretty expensive. So I kind of dodged that bullet a little bit, and ended up saving myself some money and just mix and matching camo, and save myself some money, and it works great. I get a turkey every year. So now that we have camo out of the way, let's get into firearms. There are a variety of shotguns out there for firearm season for turkey, and a lot of people try to go extravagant, like Benellis and Berettas and everything. For myself, I do personally prefer semi-automatic 12 gauges, and as long as you have a 12 gauge and it has the ability of accepting a full choke or an extra full choke if you want to make very precise shots and also bring your patterns out to a distance like beyond 50 yards, maybe an extra choke is for you. For me, I have this thing called the Turkey Choke by Carlson's TSS, and what I have on my shotgun is the Carlson's TSS full choke, and my shotgun is a CZ712 utility 12 gauge. It's originally a tactical shotgun, as I mentioned in previous videos. I'll include those in the end card for this video. But I saw the benefit of having a short barrel tactical shotgun for just maneuverability. I know a lot of people use their duck hunting guns and they have like 24-inch barrels or more or longer. I've seen people go on the turkey woods with 28-inch shotguns, and I still pull off the same results that they do with my 20-inch barrel with a full choke. So whatever works for you, I guess. There are people who claim that they're professionals and everything and experts on the matter, but there's really no such thing. I weigh experience and like how many mistakes you've made and that really helps you determine what works for you, the number of mistakes that you make, or if you've had any unsuccessful hunts, you just become an expert in a different way. So if you make mistakes, that's all part of the learning experience. Me being a minimalist out in the woods, I like to carry as little gear as possible, as I've already mentioned before, which means I only carry one decoy, and it's a hen decoy. For my tactics, for making sure that I guess I gotta get into decoy placement and how I select my hunting spot. For hunting spots, you gotta really consider the following factors: whether or not you have enough cover and concealment, and if there's an open space. As I know from being an experienced turkey hunter, turkeys take the path of least resistance, just like deer. And so where you see trails and everything and open fields, so people who live deep in the north woods and everything, they kind of have like a disadvantage because there's just thick woods and not very many open areas, specifically agricultural fields. I have the luxury of hunting over an agricultural field. I know by the time I'm hunting in April 15th, there hasn't been anything planted, but there's a lot of leftover stuff from the previous year. So what they do is they take their dust baths in the dirt, and they also sift through the dirt, eating leftover corn and soybeans. So that draws them out, and also they're kind of a safety animal where they travel in groups. When they can't see their group members, they kind of fan out or spread out and get to a place where they can actually see the rest of their group members. So what they do is when they graze and they eat all day, they like to be in open areas where they can see everyone and anything that decides to approach, because they rely heavily on their sight. So that's the one thing that I can't stress enough. Always find a spot like I do. I'll be showing you guys a picture on this video involving where I hunt and where I'm actually going to place my decoy. And it shows an aerial view of this area where I hunt. For me, what I like to do is I like to hunt set back about 10 feet into the tree line that overlooks a field. And what I'll do is I'll actually place my hen decoy 20 yards out into the field where it can be seen from different avenues of approach. And turkeys like that. When they see a lone hen, they tend to just gravitate together. So anytime you see a bachelor group of toms or jakes and everything, and they see one hen, they're gonna follow that one tom to that one hen, and then it's game time. You gotta have your shotgun at the ready and be ready to pull the trigger. But don't make any sudden movements, because any sudden movements is what gets them to be shy, and it's just another terminology for being like on high alert, and then they end up walking away pretty much, so, or strutting away. But yeah, that's one of my tactics right there. So being set back where you have enough cover and concealment. I like to put my back up against a tree. I don't normally bring very much gear. The most I'll ever bring is my backpack, the decoy, my shotgun, and if I feel like toting out a little wood stool, I'll bring that too. It's like a little director's chair that's all camoed out. And but normally, with all the luck that I've had in the past, it has always been with just sitting on top of my backpack with my back up against a tree. Just simple like that. I feel like simple is how you get things done. Alrighty, so this is the map I was talking about of the hunting location where I actually hunt. In this photo, the black arrows represent the path that the turkeys take. You can see that tree line right above that road, and you can see the farmhouse all the way to the left, kind of adjacent to the tree line. The red dot represents my location, and the blue dot represents the decoy in the position where I'm going to have the decoy. As you guys can see, it's exactly where I said it would be, based off of the tactics that I introduced to you. I have the decoy where in the middle of the field where other turkeys can see it and converge on its location, and there I'll be concealed right in the tree line, about 20 yards away from that turkey decoy. And just so you guys know, it is a hen decoy. The black arrows in that circle represent the path that turkeys take. So I might be dealing with 2 rafts in this area. I'm not necessarily sure, but I'm pretty sure there is 2 rafts in this area. The one that comes from that little island of trees, and that northern field that kind of has more of a diagonal direction towards moving east to where my decoy is and where I'm at. And then there's that one that's heads east and then goes north to where the decoy is at. Sometimes they do take, the whole reason why I have the southern one that has 2 arrows from one common location is because sometimes they do actually kind of like cut their way through the woods. And so there's a chance that if I am hunting out there and sitting facing that field where the decoy is at, the blue dot, there's a chance that they might walk up on me and come from behind me. So there's always that possibility, but I just thought I'd give you guys a image showing you what kind of tactics I'm talking about. Talking about them is one thing, but being able to show you and explain things to you with a visual is another. So thank you. When I talk further about my tactics, I kind of have a really bad memory. I wrote all this down based off my experience, so I'm going to use it to refer back to. So for my turkey hunting tactics, this is all just based off my experience and everything that I've done in the past and how I've learned everything. I kind of graduate in a way where I learn something new and then I can apply it next year. And so everything that I've applied or learned over the years of turkey hunting, I'm going to apply to my next turkey hunt and a hunt after that and a hunt after that. Bear with me. There's a couple things that I know about turkeys that might come to your advantage when you decide to try turkey hunting, or if you are an experienced turkey hunter. This is probably something that you can actually relate to. Here's what I wrote down. When it comes to calling, toms respond well to realistic brevity. And what I mean by brevity, it just means realistic space in sound. So when you're talking the language of a hen and everything, use some realistic hen sounds like rasp, purrs, all sorts of stuff like that. This means that as a hunter, do not overuse your call. I've made that mistake before. There were times when I was trying to get a hesitant tom within 25 yards, and I waited for like 2 hours sitting there, and I was hearing him call back, and it was getting me excited because he was getting a lot closer. So what I did is I overused the call, and then before I know it, it's starting to get pretty dark outside, and the hunting hours were coming to a close, and sure, he was responding back to me even as he was flying up into his roost. But that was kind of like, that was kind of a bad experience, because I don't know, you have your first call of the season, something's responding back to you, and then you just get excited and you overuse your mouth call. It happens all the time. So in the morning, you can call frequently. That way a tom can actually hone in on your location. Once you can confirm that he's getting in a little bit closer, give him the silent treatment. It doesn't hurt. It keeps them curious. So what hens tend to do is they give toms the silent treatment, and then I say maybe once every 2 gobbles that he does, reward him with a hen call, and that'll keep his interest, and then he'll actually come in a little bit faster than he was previously, because you're given the satisfaction of a call that he can actually triangulate and locate. So there's just one useful tactic right there. Don't overuse your mouth call, or any of your calls for that matter. I know from experience, women make very, very good hunters. They're actually superior hunters to men because they have this thing called patience. And before I piss you guys off, let me get into this. So from experience and talking to other male hunters and everything, they have this thing where if they don't hear any action, see any action, they're gonna have this urge to get up. And I can't count how many times where I've been busted by an animal because I didn't wait the extra 20 minutes or 15 minutes. So for turkey hunting, I can't stress enough to sit still and keep your ass where you established your hunting spot, because when you feel like you've waited long enough, apply this rule. Wait another 20 minutes. I can't stress that enough. For those of you that don't hunt in areas that have open fields that you can use to your advantage, so if you're like deep in the woods and everything, but you know that there are turkeys out there, my advice to you is to get out to the woods and into your spot, sitting nice and quiet and still, as early as you possibly can. I'd say maybe even an hour prior to sunlight, to the sun coming up. Reason being is when you can hear turkeys fly down from their roost, and you know where a roost is based off the evidence. If you see footprints leading up to a thick base tree and very stable branches, turkeys tend to like things like that, trees that can support their weight. So the evidence of that is you'll see a lot of turkey crap at the base of the trees, and you'll see a lot of rubbed off bark, because what they do is they spend their nights grasping the trunks that or the branches that they're sitting on, and the bark falls to the forest floor. That's just dead giveaways pretty much. So my advice to you is to get out as early as you possibly can, and once you hear them fly down, that's when you should start calling. Last year when I got my record tom, I started calling at around 5:30 in the morning. I knew where he was. I saw his outline up in the trees with my headlamp, and as soon as I saw that it was him, I turned my headlamp off because I didn't want to startle him and make him wary of my location. So as soon as he flew down, and they make a lot of noise flying down too. It sounds like thunder from their wings, and they also make like a clucking and like panic sound when they fly to the forest floor. It's kind of a funny sound, but you'll hear it and it'll probably scare the shit out of you. Yeah, call early. That way they don't walk out to any sort of field and avoid your location. Also make sure that's an open area below the canopy of trees, because they like taking the path of least resistance, as I mentioned before. Well, that is the best advice I could give you guys today. If you have any additional questions, just follow up by hitting like on this video and talking with me on the comment section of this video. I wish you guys a very successful turkey hunting season this year, and be sure to share it with me. Let me know if any of the tactics I shared with you works for you. That stuff makes me excited. I like to know that any of the things that I experienced will help you as a novice or as an experienced hunter. Hopefully it helps you.